This video is brought to you by ExpressVPN. Stick around until the end of the video to learn more.
Adam, quit messing around.
Yes, that's it.
What are you gonna do about
Extra thin!
What does it take to be a Bigfoot? Ah, yes, a question for the ages. Well, the answer's pretty simple. All you need is a hairy body and blue jeans. That's it. That's all you need. See, that's how I knew that this footage was fake. Hey, where's your skinny jeans?
Squid's got jeans! Squid's got jeans!
Son of Bigfoot, a film that was highly requested and even piqued my own curiosity. When I saw this poster, I was like, yeah, I don't know. Looks kind of weird. On one hand, it could be good. On the other hand, it could be absolutely terrible and fall right in the middle of the uncanny valley. So of course it was my sacred duty to see this through. Also, I was very surprised by the true star of this movie. Dat ass.
Damn, boy, he's thick, boy!
We'll talk about this later. Looks like we found Miss Incredible's sister. Alright, so who made this movie? I made the mistake of being under the impression that the folks who made this movie were the same ones who did Hedgehogs. I don't know why I thought that, but I was wrong. I was pleasantly surprised to discover that the studio who made Son of Bigfoot were the same guys who did The Queen's Corgi, which was a movie that I actually liked. The company is called In-Wave Studios, and they're stationed out of Brussels, Belgium. When I saw The Queen's Corgi, I wasn't too hopeful about the film. I saw the Donald Trump stuff, and I thought, there's no way that this movie can be good. But I was wrong. In-Wave is actually competent, and they provided a good-looking movie with a decent plot. So after realizing that fact, I was like, okay, so maybe Son of Bigfoot might be good. The movie officially came out in 2017 in France, and eventually made its way over to America in 2018. It did quite well in the box office, and made back twice its budget. And when you look at the online scores, they're decent as well. It's like this movie is the definition of above average. The movie starts off with this guy who's running from a bunch of helicopters. Well, a helicopter. We don't know why, we don't know who, but he jumps off into a cliff and we presume that he's dead. We then look over at his family, where his wife and son are like, oh no, dad's dead. After that, we have a time jump to where the kid is like, now 12, 13, and he's in school and he's going through growing pains. Except this time his growing pains are very bizarre, where he's growing hair and massive feet. Oh, and check it out. The most generic bullies ever. They tuck their shirts in their boxers. Ooh, how intimidating.
No, it's not.
We then learn that our main character, Adam, is the son of Bigfoot, and his father, who we thought was dead, is actually still alive, and that his mother has been hiding that fact for his entire life. Let's just say that his mom's not very good at hiding things. So Adam runs away from his home to go find his dad, to which he does, and discovers that his father is actually Bigfoot. This hairy guy who wears blue jeans. You know, at first I thought that the blue jeans were a weird choice, but it actually kind of works. And hey, at least we don't have to stare at his hairy crotch. So Adam and his father Bigfoot start to bond and talk about Adam's changes. Because Adam is starting to go through these transformations where he can hear things from a distance, he can run really fast, he can talk to animals, and not ripping off World of Warcraft, but this guy is a low-key druid. He even has an ability where he can heal stuff, and it's called, you guessed it, Healing Touch. So we finally get to the main meat of the story, and that's how the main villain, who I'm just gonna call Villain, is in charge of this hair company, and how they're trying to find this hair growth formula. And apparently Bigfoot was the one who carried the DNA where you could grow hair instantaneously. This is where things get a little bit strange, but I kind of stay on board with it. You would think that they would want Bigfoot because it's Bigfoot, it's a legendary creature. But no, we want Bigfoot because he can grow hair. And we can take that DNA, put it in science, and make billions of dollars. And that's why Bigfoot didn't want to talk to his son, because he wanted to keep this hidden from the company. But oh no, a villain discovers that Bigfoot is alive, and he hunts him down, and he puts him in a factory, and he says things like, "We're going to extract your essence so we can make our own hair formula." It's like the Dark Crystal.
It won't hurt. We just want to drain your living essence.
So here's where things get a little bit weird. I don't understand why Bigfoot was on the run. Like, you could have just cooperated with these guys and make money and you're good. Why would you withhold your DNA? I think it's because the villain wanted to actually capture Bigfoot and not, pay him, even though he said that he would. So maybe the villain is lying about that? And that's why Bigfoot did not want to work with him? I don't know. It's confusing, and that's my biggest gripe with this movie.
I can't do this anymore. It's too confusing.
Not that confusing.
So Bigfoot gets captured, and his son, Adam, and all of the forest creatures go attack the facility and try to break him out. That's when the villain discovers, oh my God, Bigfoot has a son, and I can steal his DNA. Again, this is confusing because the entire angle of this villain is to extract the DNA. So now he has Bigfoot and Bigfoot's son. But then he's like, I would have worked together with you, but you wouldn't cooperate. And now I'm going to kill you and keep your son instead? Even though he's like, don't keep my son, I'll stay. It just doesn't make sense.
Well, that doesn't make any sense.
So yeah, Adam and his father then break away, run into the factory, turn on a bunch of gas chambers, jump out of the factory, confront the villain, shoot off a flare with a very lucky shot, mind you, and they blow everything up, and then the villain falls 20 feet, and you can hear his body crunch on the ground. No! It's cool, dude. I like how this guy just doesn't give a crap about saving his boss. The boss is like, hey, give me a hand, I'm gonna fall. And you couldn't have been more lethargic. This guy's like, okay, I'll get around to it. So at the end of the movie, the family is reunited and Bigfoot and all of his animal friends go back to the neighborhood to live with his wife and son. I mean, if I had to stay away from that booty for 13 years, I'd be running home too, if you know what I mean. Top tier comedy, folks. Okay, so let's go over my 5 points. First, the story. I actually like the characters, which was something I wasn't really expecting. Adam was this awkward kid who wanted to find out more about himself, and he grew as a person, so that was satisfying. I was waiting for the moment, just waiting for a character to show up and just make my eyes roll. But that never really happened. Even the side characters who were there for comedy relief were actually okay. They even made me laugh. The only character who I thought was poorly written was the villain. He looked evil, he had your basic average evil plot. The only thing that was somewhat different was that he was in charge of a hair company, and that was it.
Cheesesteak!
Though the guy is pretty ruthless, he was completely fine with locking Adam in a car and basically setting it on fire. Dear Journal, I killed a kid today was pretty cool. Also, the minions in this movie look like the Chads from the Virgin Chad memes.
11? That's pretty Chad.
The story itself was okay, though I do have my gripes with the plot holes. Again, I don't fully understand why Bigfoot was so withholding of trying to help out this company. It would have helped the movie if they showed that this villain was untrustworthy. Because maybe he would have worked together with Bigfoot, and that would have been it. Give some of your DNA, make some money, help some people grow back their hair. Everybody wins. But we don't really get that. If they would have shown an example of how this guy was 100% ruthless and was basically a slave master, then maybe it would have made sense. But no, we've got Bigfoot who's like, we gotta get away. Why? Because plot. Next, we have the voice acting. I checked out the voice actors on IMDb, and I couldn't really recognize their names. The only thing that mattered to me was their delivery, which was very good. After that, there's the dialogue. This movie was surprisingly aware. It walked the line of being quirky and snarky, but never being too meta. Some movies do that, and it breaks the immersion, but they do a good job of leveling things out here. Then there's the editing. So I include music under this category. And that's something that I did have a problem with. There were moments where they played songs that I thought weren't too appropriate with the scenes that they were paired with. The beginning of the movie has Bigfoot running for his life, and they're playing some indie pop band that just doesn't do it for me. And this was a consistent thing throughout the entire movie. But hey, at least the scenes didn't drag on for too long. And finally, the animation. This movie had great color, fantastic lighting, wonderful particle effects, and textures that were top-notch. The hair effects? Very well done. I was even impressed by the character designs. Even the background characters had some effort thrown into them. And there were some characters who got a little bit more effort than others. I'm watching you, Belgium. You guys got it tight, don't you? But there were some moments where I thought that the movement of the characters were a bit off, especially during the running scenes, and felt like the physics didn't match up with the actions that were going on in that particular scene. So, how would I improve the movie? Honestly, there's not much that I would change. Maybe trade in this indie band for something that's more, orchestral. That way we can get some more atmospheric music with the scenes. Also, I would make the villain a lot more interesting. Maybe he's the brother of Bigfoot. Or maybe they were science partners who were ethically at odds and couldn't agree on what they were doing. Like Bigfoot could have been, no, my DNA can't be tamed and it would hurt the world. And the villain could be like, you're just afraid of progress. Give me your DNA and stop keeping it to yourself because you're being greedy. See, that would be much more interesting to me and would help to fill the plot holes. Overall, this movie was much better than I was expecting. I truly was under the impression that this would be an ugly, uncanny valley film, but they were able to pull it off. And Wave, seriously guys, keep it up. You all are extremely competent with your visuals. Keep pairing that up with some good stories, and you all can definitely go the distance. I look forward to seeing where you all go next. Bigfoot Superstar? Okay. As long as you continue to be down with the thickness, I'll keep watching. Okay, that's it. No more thick jokes. I'm sorry. I've hit my quota for the year. Hey guys, I just wanted to give a big shout out to the sponsor for this video, ExpressVPN. For the longest time, I went without a VPN, thinking it wasn't necessary. Good Lord, was I wrong. I know a lot of content creators go along with the sponsor, but I truly mean it when I say that every person should have a VPN service on their computer. And ExpressVPN is the way to go. It's an awesome tool that gives you unfiltered access to the internet. It also allows you to secure a connection, and it also encrypts your data without slowing down your computer's speed. In this day and age, online security and privacy is a must, and this is a smart way to protect yourself. You also get access to server locations in over 90 countries, and have full access to a variety of shows and movies that are region-locked. Plus, ExpressVPN is the #1 VPN service rated by TechRadar. It's super intuitive to use, and works on multiple devices. Windows, Android, iOS, Mac, and many others. For less than $7 a month, you can get the service. Trust me, that's absolutely worth the cost for having this amount of protection and freedom. I recently used ExpressVPN to get access to a cartoon series that was region-locked in the Netherlands. But with ExpressVPN, I was able to access it. Super easy stuff. So, go to expressvpn.com/Saberspark to take back your internet privacy today and find out how you can get 3 months for free.